Mr. Hill, when did you receive a unanimous vote?
I believe that was December 2022.
3 years ago. What changed? What have you done so poorly in the last 3 years that you go from a unanimous vote to now a very polarized, partisan reality? The answer is nothing changed with you, but a lot has changed in Washington. Is it the Schumer shutdown? Is it the failure of the Biden administration? Is it the devastation that the employees of the FDIC have had to endure under leadership from the left? So many things have changed, and unfortunately, you will be the victim of some of those changes. I would like to, however, discuss the culture at the FDIC and what have you done to change the culture that you inherited from Mr. Goonberg?
Sure. Well, thank you for the question, Senator. And let me say at the outset that harassment of any kind is completely unacceptable. There is no tolerance for it at the FDIC or at any organization. Reforming the culture continues to be a top priority. There are a lot of things that we have been doing throughout the year 2025. I think the linchpin of our efforts is accountability. In my view, the largest root cause of the problems was years of lack of accountability. And when people were not held accountable for misconduct, not only did that mean that bad actors continued to misbehave and engage in misconduct, but people also lost faith and confidence in the system. So we have two new offices, the Office of Professional Conduct and the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity. Those two offices have been live. They have been conducting investigations, ensuring discipline is imposed. And I think that's the biggest piece of the cultural transformation efforts. There are a number of other things that we have been working on. We rolled out new anti-harassment training earlier this summer. We have new processes for intake of complaints, for reporting, for tracking. We also have made significant leadership changes across the agency. Obviously, there have been changes at the board level, but also the majority of our divisions and offices have new leaders from the past.
Thank you. What are you looking forward to accomplishing with joint rulemaking with the OCC on unsafe and unsound practices and MRAs? Maybe 30 seconds.
Sure. So the core goal there is to shift the focus of supervision so it is focused on core material financial risks rather than process. I think SVB is a great example of a case where the bank had all sorts of financial problems, but the supervisory criticisms were all focused on process. And so I think the fundamental goal there is to reorient supervision so it's focused on the fundamental financial risks that matter most.
Thank you. Mr. Cassidy, you said something that I thought was really encouraging, surprising, and frankly sad for today's homeowners. You became a homeowner at 20 years old, 3.5% down. That's pretty exciting. Wonderful, actually. My mother became a homeowner at 38 years old. And today, once again, 38 years old is the average first-time home buyer. The ranking member and I have worked a lot on the issue of homeownership. I'd love to hear from you how you're going to work with this committee, private sector, and the housing stakeholders nationwide to frankly expand access to affordable housing. About 30 to 45 seconds.
Senator Scott, thank you very much for that question. As you mentioned, I personally benefited from the FHA, was fortunate enough to enter homeownership at a relatively young age. But for many Americans, that is out of reach.
Yes.
Housing is too expensive. And I am focused at HUD's Office of Housing and the FHA, working with our partners, lenders, homeowners to streamline these programs, to make them more efficient, to make them less costly. Since I've started in April under the leadership of Secretary Turner, we've been taking inventory, not just of HUD's programs, but FHA's programs, to figure out how we can get more Americans into homes. Since President Trump took office, a record 800,000 FHA borrowers became homeowners, many first-time homeowners. FHA serves a $1.5 trillion single-family portfolio, and it's really taking inventory of each FHA program, working with lenders, working with partners, working with the boots on the ground to make these programs more efficient. And I look forward, Senator, to working with you and your staff and the rest of this committee on these initiatives.